everyone, and welcome to the Macon Podcast. I'm Sean Akimbaloye. On this episode, we'll be looking into some matters bordering on the state of the nation. As we know, that it's now a year since President Bola Tinubu assumed office as the democratically elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And today, my guest will be giving us insight into the state of the nation in respect of the performance of the Bola Tinubu administration, the way forward from Nigeria, especially from the perspective of what this government promised, their party promised before they got into power. I'm being joined by a member of the APC, Prince Kasim Afegbua. Thank you so much indeed for joining us today.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to grace your wonderful mic on.
Thank you so much indeed. I appreciate it. I mean, give us your assessment. I mean, it's as if asking someone to mark his own script. You're a member of the APC. You played a major role, especially when you pulled out from the PDP, and you say you are going to align yourself with the APC. It caused a lot of controversy because a lot of people believe, why is Kasim rocking the waters anyways?
Well, I didn't rock waters. You knew from onset and why I left the PDP. I made my point known very clearly that it was the turn of the southern part of Nigeria to produce a president, and that if the PDP ceded its ticket to a northerner, that I would, publicly pull out of PDP. And I did that. I made real my position, and I was quite miffed by the fact that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who ought to play the father figure role in the PDP, to allow the southern candidate emerge so that we can fall into that seamless transition of candidature from the north in 2019 to the south in 2023, was himself the architect of all the entire political shenanigans. And so, for that reason, I said, no, I won't be part of this. 8 years of presidency in the north, 8 years presidency in the south. It now depends on what part of the south people were saying. They say whether southeast or southwest or south-south and all that. But for God's sake, based on the north-south divide, I think it was convenient for me, in order to balance the power algorithms of the southern and northern dichotomy, so to speak. I took side with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. People say, why not Peter Obi? I said, no. I'm a political analyst. I've been a political player for getting to 30 years now. I jumped out of politics in 1997. I'm a journalist and all that. But again, I saw that given the analysis that nothing will take it away from Asiwaju if elections were to be free and fair and all that. So I pitched my tent with him. Until now, I'm still very supportive of his leadership. I believe very strongly that he's going to do something different. He might be having teething problems now as a consequence of what he inherited. People are shy to speak about that because it's all about APC to APC government and all that. But what he inherited are not things that will naturally kick him in the butt to start running. He needs to take a methodical approach to governance. He needs to take measured steps so that he doesn't make the same mistakes of the past. But I want to tell you that so far, so good. It may be trying times for us, but we are headed somewhere good.
Those who feel betrayed in the PDP that you jumped ship, and that those who think that you were very unfair in your analysis of things at the time. Yeah. Those who say, look, it was the APC's arrangement, because your argument was not a legal argument. It was more of a moralistic argument and a political inference that you are making, that it's just naturally needed to go to the south. But there are those who believe that you had your own personal interest of wanting to leave the BDP for the APC.
Well, you see, I have been an active player for quite some time. And I have been an eyewitness to a lot of political scenarios in this country by virtue of the fact that I have been President Babangida's spokesman. I have been privileged to attend a lot of high-profile meetings. I participate in quite a number of nocturnal meetings that, where certain things about this country are decided, and I would not want to, fall into the category of those who will tell me that, oh, it's all about personal interest. No. You see, in a country of different ethnic multiplicities, in a country of disparate interests, in a country with very skewed federalist status, you need to balance the power algorithm as a conscious and deliberate effort for you to be able to put, some level of stability in the front burner where you want to agitate for power. You don't just say because, it's convenient that one party has an opportunity to win now, so the power should remain in a certain part of the country for 16 years, when the other side should just wait and watch. No, it doesn't work that way, because Nigeria, aside from the fact that we are sharply divided along ethnic and religious lines, there are quite a number of competing interests, competing for attention, competing for deliberate and conscious attention. And if you are unable to address those interests and those issues, you are going to miss it altogether. Imagine if Atiku were to be president now, and in the next 7 years he will be completing another 8 years tenure after the first listing. The southern part of the country will naturally be asking that, okay, they too want power to be given to them for another 16 years, and that will be like a long time to come. So if you do 8 years in the north, it's just natural. And when it comes to politics, it's not all about legalistic undertaking or indulgence or engagement. It's all about what is suitable for us, that can put pay to cries of marginalization, why do you think the Southeast are agitating for power? Because they feel that they need some level of sense of inclusion. But the man who represented the Labour Party, who also is from the Southeast extraction, didn't know how to go about his own aspiration. He was too pro religion and pro ethnic stock, to the point that every other person felt, threatening that, if this man is too egotic, let me put it that way. And so if he comes on board, this is what we're going to see. And so they would rather prefer a man like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who cut across various interests, both religion, ethnic, and what have you. And so in my analysis of the 2023 election, I told everybody who cares to listen that Atiku was the candidate of the North. To a large extent, because he relied on the northern axis to get his maximum votes. Peter Obi was the candidate of the Christian faith, and he relied so much on that. You remember the Thank You Daddy scenario and what have you. And Asiwaju was the candidate for Nigerians, because if you look at the spread of the votes, you will see a fair assemblage and endorsement by a lot of Nigerians drawn from different geopolitical zones. You couldn't lay your hands that this is where Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is going to be. This is going to be his stronghold. Even the Southwest, he was defeated in Lagos. He was neck to neck with another party in Osun State. In Oyo, it was the same thing. So you see, even his own part of the country didn't give him the kind of massive support that one would have expected. In the North, he got a lot of votes, that to neutralize Atiku's stronghold and all that. In the Southeast, typical, you see almost 89% attendance at votes in all the 5 states of the Southeast for Peter Obi and all of it. So, Bola Tinubu, for me, represent the aggregate interest of majority of Nigerians. And the fact that the votes of the elections were within a certain threshold, also goes to suggest that we as Nigerians who must begin consciously to know how we can build, a lot of, we can reduce incidences of voters' apathy.
Interesting, but why the choice of, because if your agitation was for a southern presidency, why the choice of Bola Tinubu? Why not Peter Obi?
Well, there are too many. They say all politics is local. It's all about interest. For me, Peter Obi would not have been able to defeat the other candidates. I wouldn't want to make noise for the sake of noise. I want to make useful noise, noise that will add value to my political evolution, noise that will add value to the processes of ensuring that what should be the desire of my people, I will have a platform to present it to people. Because Nigerian contest is a matter of big man they talk, poor man say in get idea. You end up lamenting if you don't have a government to translate what you have in print to practice for people to benefit from. You'll be moralistic, you'll be idealistic, you'll be preaching all the listic. But at the end of the day, it will not bring development to your people. What's my interest in politics? My interest is to create a platform where I can assist my community. I'm from the minority of the minority, so I need to align with majority to also bring some attention to my people, so that in the final analysis, I will say yes. In the course of participating in politics, we'll be able to attract X, Y, Z to my area. But some other people don't see it that way. They will make all the noise. They want to be moralistic. Politics is not a game where you want to make heaven. If you want to make heaven, go and build a church or mosque and become pastor or chief imam and be preaching Armageddon. From politics, the reward is right here on earth. And that reward is in goods and services for the people how to make life better. You want a train, you want a good salary, you want good social amenities and all of that. That is the reward for politics. But those who want to do politics because they want to go to heaven, I wish them good luck.
I've been joined by the official spokesperson of the Obidati organization. Thank you so much, Alhaji Yunusa Tanko, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, Sherry.
I appreciate it. And of course, this conversation is about our nation. But let me first and foremost get Prince Afegbua's view on the Bola Tinubu's performance in the last 1 year. What is your assessment?
Well, for me, 1 year is not enough to assess a government that is set to alter the narrative. A narrative that a lot of people are not, comfortable to discuss. But given my nature, I would rather want to call a spade a spade. I was one of the very vitriously critic of the Buhari administration, even though it's all about transition from one APC government to another. I felt very strongly that former President Buhari didn't live to expectation. It was a government that was run by proxies, a government that was ceded to people who had no experience in governance. And so, to a large extent, somebody teased me jokingly yesterday that the best time to be a minister was during Buhari because there are no checks and balances. And so it was like a free fall and all of that. And so we shouldn't be shy to say that, because we're talking about Nigerian historical chronicling kind of. And when you are chronicling history, you need to state the issues the way they are. So a Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidency inherited a lot of halitosis. And in order to put all of those halitosis in check, you need to do certain things outside the box, outside the normative order, what seemed to be the normative order. And so in doing that, you're stepping on toes, you're also taking very painful and hard decisions, which is what Bola Tinubu started with. Like the issue of oil subsidy, fuel subsidy. He came on the first day to face the challenge of an issue that has been bugging us. And the three candidates of the three dominant parties, the Labour Party candidate, the PDP candidate, and the APC candidate, as it were, all spoke about removal of fuel subsidy. What differs was when and how. And so the elected president chose a position or took a decision right at the beginning of his presidency so that he confronts the challenges, so that at some point there will be some level of leverage. And that's exactly what he did. So
let me ask Alhaji Yunusa Tanko, what's your own assessment of the 1 year of the Tinubu government?
There's no scorecard for me to assess.
What do you mean?
Well, exactly, because it's like you are picking and choosing what you want to do without a choreographed and arranged policy that you want to execute. From the beginning, they were just playing to the gallery. Right from the beginning also, it was clear that the Buhari administration has removed the subsidy. So instead of them to assert that particular position, they only play to the gallery hoping that it will be a beneficial statement on their own part. Because right from the beginning, they have this particular issue of legitimacy. That particular issue of legitimacy was hanging on them, and so they were looking for ways in which they can really assert themselves and be accepted by the people. Instead of getting pat in the back, they got a really big cane behind their bum. And that was exactly what happened, because they started making mistake upon mistake as regard to the pronouncement that they made that they were not prepared for. Because obviously, up to today, they've not found solution to the problem that's already created by them. Very correctly. Because if you say you remove subsidy, what were the provisions that you made? Because government actually is for the interest of the people. You protect the interest of people, not add more pain to them. You see, when we do vuvuzela, as some other people call it, we're not doing it because you just want to speak. No, we're trying to speak so that the people will know, and the government and the day will know that this is the right way to go in order to bring succor to the people. Correctly, the people have already been in pain. You can just assert it to the iPhone series, your iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3. When they brought to Nigerian people is the Pro Max pain. They brought Pro Max pain to the Nigerian people. Already the Nigerian people are already suffering in pain because of the, abysmal performance of the Buhari era. But now, here we are, instead of finding succor for the people, you only added to it. So you cannot assess them as regard to the issue of health. You cannot assess them as regard to the issue of economy. You cannot assess them in the issue of area of security. You neither can you assess them in terms of providing of water, potable water to the Nigerian people. If you cannot provide these particular 4 indices, then what are you doing for the people?
But, they will say that they came with a Renew Hope agenda.
That is to establish to you, then there is a problem before. If you are having a Renew agenda or Renew Hope, then that means that the initial hope has been dashed. That's simply the explanation.
So, it's an indictment on the Buhari government. That's what they're trying to say.
They know that there was a serious indictment on that particular government. Just like Kasim has just said, that he performed below standard, that everybody is a free-for-all. There was no check and balances. All promises that were made were completely dashed. So when they said they are going to continue, it gives a lot of sinister motive to every Nigerian. So that's why the Renew Hope is not being renewed at all.
Because one will wonder, when the president said he was going to build on the legacies of President Buhari, and if you had said that President Buhari was performed abysmally, is that not an indictment also on the Tinubu government saying he wants to build on what Buhari has done?
Well, what President Tinubu knows about Buhari government might be different from mine. I'm speaking from the point of view of an outsider in government. But when you are an insider, you have the statistics before you, and so there might be certain things that you admire.
You imagine that maybe President Tinubu think that Buhari had performed well.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he had made that statement. But
from the point of view of Nigerians, but the point of view of Nigerians, you're a member of the APC, given that for the better part of when Buhari was in power, you were in the PDP.
Yeah.
But are you willing to take also the blame that people will see you if they were to stone those who are responsible for the pains of Nigeria, and they hear that you're an APC member? They could actually stone you, because if they feel that APC brought pain to them.
You see, Sheung, I don't have problem with people throwing stones at me. In fact, my brain works better when you are criticizing me, because Nigerians want governance to be done on public opinion. Nobody, no leader in the entire world that I know, from the study I've carried out, you can't run government on public opinion, because there's nobody out there to gauge public opinion. So people can only give you statistics as they see them. But the man who is wearing the shoe knows exactly where it pinches and has better information to approach governance, to devise ways and means and all of that. I wouldn't want to blame or take up Tanko Yunusa, because the Labour Party has never had opportunity to be in government. But the little government they are running it upside down. And what is that government? It's the Labour Party. That's the government on its own.
What do you mean?
Yes.
They're not in power.
No, well, you're not getting me. The Labour Party is a government on its own. You see, when you want to exhibit your leadership qualities, you start from the known to the unknown. And for us, we know Labour Party. And for the better part of the last 1 year, they have been in crisis, causing destruction to even government. There have been cases of burglary into their office. There have been cases of beating up people in court. There have been cases of one statements, counter statements, and all of that. I know how many times he has refuted quite a number of statements credited to Peter Obi and all of that. You see, when your platform, the vehicle upon which you anchored your leadership emanations, is unable to enjoy some level of stability, then how much more will you want to talk about a bigger country like Nigeria with over 200 million people? And so if you are not able to manage internal dissensions, internal crises within your party, do you actually have the morality to even interrogate another and say that pick the specks in your eyes because you are not doing well? I expect Labour to be like a novel political party that is, that will be a far cry from the platforms that we have, the PDP, the APC, and all of that, so that Nigeria will begin to say, come, wait a minute, this party is quite well run, well organized. So if this man had gotten the presidency, this is what he would have done to Nigeria. Then from that perspective, you'll be making some sense to me. But your party is, if you ask me, I don't even know whether they have executives. Because there are court cases, there are litigations, there are verdicts, there are judgments, there are orders, injunctions, and all of that. So, you see, Nigerians, we should pick interest in the little things. The little things will grow up to become bigger things.
But don't let us get away from the issue.
I'm not getting away
It's
from
about
the
the APC government, the party you belong, that promised renewed hope to Nigerians.
I am telling you.
Has your party delivered in whatsoever manner?
I am telling you that, to a large extent, I, Kasim Afegboa, am comfortable with what President Bola Tinubu has done thus far. It may not have been an El Dorado. It may not have been the kind of things we want to see. But 1 year is not enough for quite a number of things to get to that level of maturity and for us to begin to reap the benefit. But I'll quickly tell you, there is so much attention on the federal government. I would want the media to also, beam its searchlight on the state government and by extension the local government. You see, from subsidy removal, for the first time, federal allocation has risen to more than 1 trillion every month that they share. 1.2 trillion, 1.250 trillion, 150 trillion, and thereabout. That means more money for the states. And what are these state governors doing with this kind of more money? So I expect that there should be a further interrogation of the state government so that we begin to get value for money that the federal government is sharing to them as a consequence of increased revenue allocation, and as a consequence of the fact that since the removal of subsidy, we are making progress. But why I'm bringing the dimension of UNISAT into it and the Labour Party is the fact that you have to first of all search yourself and ask yourself, do I really have the morality to even interrogate people when in my little home I can't put it in order? That's my question.
So, yeah, I'd like you to respond to
Well, we're not discussing about the Labour Party here.
We're talking about Nigeria.
No, we're talking about Nigeria.
Yes, our Labour Party is part of Nigeria.
But also, because I'd like you to respond to him, but the question is that it will come to equity. Must come with clear hands.
Correct.
But does
Correct.
the Labour Party have what it takes to challenge when he has accused your party of disorderliness?
Yes,
that your party has not been able to put itself together.
Not new in the political setting. If you are to choreograph the barrage of problems that was bedeviling the APC in their own political party, you will have said that, okay, what is happening in the Labour Party is just a child's play. We have their chairman already giving a name, Gandola. So are you now saying that probably those particular accusations on even the chairman of the APC himself is another issue entirely, because that is the head of the political party? So that actually also depicts the kind of nature of the people that you find in their government.
So it's not only your party that's in disarray.
It's not.
So they are also sharing
a fantastic issue, because already the issue of corruption has already been labeled on that particular political party.
So as your party is battling with corruption, the APC too is also battling corruption.
And in the case of the political party, Labour Party, it's very clear that the presidential candidate has disassociated himself very cleanly from what is happening within the Labour Party. And he has made concerted effort in telling. This is a man who has called for auditing of the account of the Labour Party. No political party has been able to do that. He has been able to also present to the public account of every kobo that was given to him during the campaign. So that clearly distinguishes him from the Labour Party issue, even though he belongs to the Labour Party. But he's trying as much as possible to lay foundation into correcting some of the ills and the mistake that's already been embedded in the Labour Party. This is very clear. So there's no...
I saw your statement today denying that Peter Obi did not collect money from Aburi.
Because now the question is that let their own president come out and deny some of the allegations that they begin. You cannot have them, and these are facts. You have to have somebody who is clear, open, to say ABC is given to me, and I have accounted for it accordingly. If you have the particular guts and determination and you want to clean yourself from your record, it's very clear. Peter Obi has been even to distinct himself even from his public and private life. So if you have such a person, even in the presidency, they should come out and deny some of the allegations. Here we are. We have a government who is trying to build a coastal road. Kasem is from Benin, Edo State. Ask him, he cannot move from here to Benin. Why? He cannot because the road is bad. Terribly bad.
I just came back last week.
But he didn't come by road.
Those roads are terribly bad.
From Abuja to...
Yes, I lost my mother-in-law. I went for burial.
Okay, because these are facts. Now you're spending 3 trillions of naira on the road that we don't actually need, even though it may sound good, but we don't need it at the moment now. I can't travel from here to Kaduna safely without being afraid of bandits or the road is not clear. Up to now, if you go to Kaduna, you cannot find the road clear, and you are spending trillions of naira on that. From Funtua, you cannot. And this is the same government also trying to build parking space in the university for 10 billion naira. How can you explain to me if there's no kind of misuse of resources belong to the Nigerian
people? So in your own estimation, you think that this government does not have a focus?
At all, they don't have a particular focus.
Even with the new renewed hope agenda.
Where is the hope? Because that means that the previous hope was not actualized.
Kassim Afegbua just said that in his own estimation, this government has done well. And I like him to substantiate.
It's amazing. That's why I mentioned the Benin Expressway.
I like him to substantiate because, Mr. Afegbua, your party before, this government, before it came into power, petrol price was 238 naira per liter. But presently now, you know what? How much fuel price is about 700 naira. Diesel price was about 844 naira. At the moment, it's 1,415. You look at the food inflation. Before, when your party came, this government came into power, 24%, that was the food inflation, is doubled. It's about 40% now. You look at inflation rate itself, it's 33% from 22% 1 year ago. 1 year ago, our foreign reserves was $35 billion, but it's now depleted by $3 billion to $32 billion now. Exchange rate, $1 to 461 naira. It's now 1,479 naira. And I can go on and on and on and on. And you say you are satisfied. Should I go to the price of commodities, Mr. Afegbua?
No,
it doesn't look like you are in the same market with the average Nigerian. You're a bourgeois, I guess, or you're an elite.
No, it's not about being a bourgeois. Let's begin to interrogate issues very seriously. I don't want Tanko Yunusa, who does not travel by road, to just run commentaries that are uninformed in terms of the actuality of what obtains. You are mentioning from here to Kaduna and all that. My wife traveled today to Kaduna and she arrived at Zaria safely. There was no crisis. I've not had incidences on that road in the last 6 months. If you have had, please tell me the date and time and all of that. From Kaduna to Kano is a smooth road. Smooth that you can drive as fast as you want to drive. You see, you may not have gotten all your infrastructural infrastructural renewal. You may not have gotten it perfectly, but there are quite a number of progress that have been made. That is one. Secondly, I'll come back to your questions of statistics. You see, you ask him that the Labour Party is in the same crisis with this, and he was telling me that Peter Obi has rendered account. The last time I checked, thank God, Yunusa has been running a political party. He was chairman of National Conscience Party for quite a long time. When you are to submit your audited account, it is the party that submits audited account, not candidates for election. And the political party is as important as the candidate because that is the vehicle upon which your candidate asks Nigerians to vote for him. You don't see the picture of Peter Obi in any ballot paper. Rather, what you see is Labour Party logo and all the logos of other political parties. So the political party is as important as what a candidate wants to achieve. And it is better we start really addressing our minds to the fact that when you say a presidential candidate, you have to look at the political party, because that is the vehicle upon which you want to recruit a candidate for presidency, for Senate, for governor, for House of Rep, for House of Assembly, and for local government chairman. And so what obtains in that political party is very important, so that we begin to interrogate the real issues of whether you have the capacity. If Nigeria to be in crisis, just like Labour Party is in crisis now, what will be the intervention, policy or approach of Mr. Peter Obi in that regard? Are you going to be poo-pooing the idea, or you are shifting blame? Oh, APC is also corrupt, so my party is also corrupt. You have come up with the new concept of obedient movement. Tell us what is unique, what is different from what obtains, so that it can distance you out, rather than behaving like a chichidodo bird that likes to feed on feces, maggot, but doesn't like the smell of feces. What produces maggot is the feces, isn't it? And so you want to look clean and all that. Oh, don't touch me. Just like the chichido baby. That is how Labour Party is behaving now. And if I get him right, there are two different elements. The element of a Peter Obi as a presidential candidate, and the element of the party structure as represented in Abure. Both of them are unable to marry their differences. They are able to even chart a roadmap. That's why you keep seeing rebuttal, counter accusation, another accusation of that. They just set up a movement for what they call for obedient movement directorate yesterday. I was reading the publicity secretary, Obiora Ifo, talked about this thing. And when you look at the membership, there are 70% Igbos. And so when we accuse Obi of being egotic in his approach and in his carriage, we know what we are talking about. We want a pan-Nigerian leader who is able to connect the dots across all the geopolitical zones and is able to understand the dynamics. Just like yesterday I was listening to somebody when Azikiwe was saying, no, because of our differences and all that. And Amadou Bello said, no, we need to understand our differences so that we can connect the dots. You see, talking about performance, you may be reading your statistics. They are not so interesting statistics. But what I'm telling you is that there are deliberate and conscious decisions that the current president must take that he cannot run away from. No matter how painful they are now, in another 2-3 years down the line, you will begin to see some level of succor. But not to take a decision at all will be to continue to live in a fool's paradise. I will be thinking that, oh, all is well in Nigeria. Until the last government left, and we begin to see all the halitosis of Emefiele, we didn't know that the country was that rotten. And so, for me, I am not going to gladiate in those who say they are opposition leaders, the opposition party. They cannot offer alternative. You said the coastal road. Shehu, bring 20 trillion naira to fix a coastal road of 700 kilometers to Calabar. I will clap for you, because if you don't do, some other people will sit down somewhere and they will pack this money. We've seen scenarios where people stole 200 billion, where people stole 300 billion. Heaven did not fall. Let us invest our resources in building our infrastructure. The economic benefit of that road cannot be quantified. Over 10,000 people will be employed in the process of building that road, and they will be providing food on the table for their families.
Even if it's not the kind of priority that the Nigerian needs.
How do you prioritize things?
In fact,
this is how we run away from things.
The same with the allegation about the APC-led National Assembly that is reviewing, getting us back into an old national anthem, and Nigerians are asking, why are you not legislating on problems of Nigeria? Is it that your party likes to dwell in the minor and refocus from the major issue? Or what exactly is the problem? Is it a problem of vision or focus?
No. Let me tell you something, Shehu. I love the part that you brought the issue of what you call the national anthem. You see, when you talk about priority, how do you know priorities? A government, president and the cabinet, they have better information than you and I on the streets. Ours is just to see and begin to respond. But they have rich information based on research and outcome. Now, when you talk about national anthem and all of that, majority, some Nigerians who say, no, they don't need it. I've listened to other Nigerians who argued, in fact, who said it was better for us to go to that particular anthem because of the lyrics, the content, and the vision that that particular national anthem presents to a country of disparate interests. Nigeria is a country of ethnic multiplicities. Whether we like it or not, we don't want to be under the colonial influence. But we are not running away from the GRUs that they left behind for us. We didn't build GRUs. They built them with very poor salary that we inherited. And we're still running.
And the old national anthem that was composed and written by British.
You see, no problem. No
and we abandoned the one that was written, composed by Nigerians. We seem to like foreign things, isn't it?
You and I, even the shirt you are wearing is foreign. The one I'm wearing is foreign. So we don't produce here. You see, the point is that the national anthem of a country, it's not just a national anthem. It's an anthem that should resonate, with the consciousness of the people of Nigerians at heart, and we see it as a rallying point. And Nigeria is not the first country that will change its national anthem. We are several among all the ones.
We are not changing. We are going back to a colonial national anthem.
Whether you go to the colonial, even countries that were under the lumberjack of Britain and what have you, all their colonies and all that, some of them have changed. Russia has changed. We went back to their old one. They tinker with another one and all of that. But what we are looking at is how are we able to capture the minds of Nigerians to resonate in a national anthem? What was wrong with it ab initio, when everything you did from 1960 to 1978 were all colonial? So what was so different that in 1979 you introduced the Arise O Compatriots? There has to be a kick in your national anthem. There has to, even for me, I've said it before that even our national flag is too ordinary. It doesn't speak to our disparities. We're only talking about agriculture. Oh, greenery all over the country. White, not the purity. Do we have the purity? Or green again, agriculture. It's too simplistic. I want a national flag that is able to capture the mood, the aspirations of a people that have gone through series of...
I've heard a lot of commentaries. And that those who believe that whatever the APC is doing now, you said some of the statistics of the indices of the economy of the nation are interesting. Yes, they are interesting. You know why they are interesting? Because they have made a mockery of the livelihood of the average person. Because the average person's purchasing power has been plummeted. Now, the question is that those who will say, is this party just trying to distract Nigerians from the real issues? Because now you've taken them away when they are talking about the pains that they are going through, and now you have introduced the national anthem into the national discourse.
Okay, let me just...
Is that a deliberate attempt?
No, let me quickly just
by
respond.
spinners in your party?
No, let me just quickly respond to this. It is none of that. But the point must be made that Nigeria, in the eyes of some people, is still like an edifice. You're trying to buy a house, Sheung, and outside the house is so beautiful and all of that. That's Nigeria. But when you go inside, you see that quite a number of columns are nearly collapsed. Quite a number of other things are not in place. In the process of you trying to renovate it, some people will be impatient to say, I thought if I buy this house, I will go to move in 2 months. But you are renovating and you are spending almost 7-8 months. And that's also telling on where you are coming from, because maybe your rent has expired from the other side. And so, not to renovate will mean that when you get in, you are also going to fall into crisis. So what I'm saying is that I'm not going to apportion blame to, how do I put it now, to one individual as the pro and con of the halitosis that have befallen Nigeria. Nigeria is being described variously as an awkwardly overgrown adult that is struggling to walk straight. But the responsibility is not on one person. It is on all of us. I was coming here this afternoon. I was driving down here. I drove through good road network that has been commissioned and put in place in the FCT, right? But in the process of driving here, I almost had an accident. Why? Because the driver who is leading the steering of another vehicle is not following the traffic rules, simply because of that. And we encounter this every time. When there are traffic light, it shows you red, it shows you amber and green for you to go. People just break all of that. So you are dealing with a populace that is also contributory factor to the kind of crisis that we're having in the country. And that's why I told people, as I see, there is so much pain and so much cost you invest in people who are indisciplined. Even common pedestrians. You build pedestrian bridges, you don't get to see people use them. They put barricades on the road and all of that. They tear those wire mesh and all of that. They still create an access. They run across the road. Accidents every now and then. The elements in us is also requiring that government must consciously, I keep using that word advisedly, engage attitudinal reorientation of the Nigerian mind. Don't let us see government as the doer of everything. There has to be a collaboration, a two-way traffic, such that we are able, like he was talking about Labour, talking about East-West Road, Coastal Road, all of that. He has not given me an option. He has not given me another alternative idea that will suit the peculiarity of where we find ourselves now. But it is easier to criticize what those of us in the literary school will say art for art's sake. They write, they tell you the problems of the society, they don't give you solutions.
Well, let me allow Alhaji Tanko to come in. But the question is that you fundamentally, your argument is that we can't get it any better than what Tinubu is giving us.
No, that 1 year is not enough for us to get it better, because he needs to put certain things in place. Tinubu is
you are literally saying that
Tinubu is a disruptor. No, it's a disruptor.
And that's why price of commodities are being disrupted.
He's disrupting quite a number of things that people are already used to. And in the process of that, it's a gestation period. It will get to a time where things will stabilize and will bounce back. We will clap for him at the end of the day. When he started in somewhere else where he presided over as a governor, people never took him serious. At the end of the day, they got it right. When Atta started in Akwa Ibom, they were criticizing him. They did all of that. But the architectural design that he put in place of how to lead the Akwa Ibom state, they were able to get it right. Go to Akwa Ibom today. It's an El Dorado kind of situation. It doesn't mean that they must stop there. They continue to advance. So what I'm saying is that there are quite a number of things that this government is doing. Give them gestation period. When they begin to materialize, we will say.
Do you agree with him?
Oh, totally no.
They will not
totally
agree
no, because I'm very happy.
Alternative.
I'm very happy that Madam, at least were able to get to Kaduna safely. I'm sure by the time she was moving, his heart was in his mouth, praying that she gets there safely. I go through those roads.
I've been to 2 times in the last 10
I go through that road. Anytime I'm going, I do la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-azim. May God see me through. That is even me. So for her to come out as a female, and I'm happy that she got in safely, and when she will return safely, inshallah. But the truth about it is that that road is not completed.
They are working on it.
No.
Every day.
No, Kasim. When you travel, you can go today. Just move from Abuja. When you get before Giri, before Jeri, you have to pass through the back here to get to Jeri. Then you boycott Zuba Road to get to Jeri. That road, as we speak, up to now, is still incompleted.
They are working on it every day.
How long would it take you to complete? Then that's an option. Why do you have to take 3 trillion of naira when you can mobilize quite a number of construction companies to finish that particular road? This is something that majority of us fly. Governors, all of these, the only link road from Kabuja to Kaduna, the only link road. Yes, you can say Kano, Kaduna, Abuja, Kaduna to Kano has been completed. What stopped you from completing it? Why are you going to embark on another?
It's an ongoing project.
Please, I didn't interrupt you when you
were
were talking.
I'm just trying to tell you.
2, when you say there's no alternative, there are alternatives. The money that you are spending, why don't you build roads that connect our people from their local levels, from the wards, from their inner houses to the main roads, where agricultural product is coming to the town? Why don't you embark on it? There are alternatives. Why don't you embark on a project that will bring succor as regard to the issue of modular refineries in 6 geographical zones of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
So the Lagos Calabar is a no-brainer.
For now, it is not needed.
It's not needed.
It's not needed at all.
They would have plowed the money in somewhere else.
Yes, that could be more meaningful. That's why I'm glad that he mentioned that both your shirt and his are foreign. That's why we're saying about consumption on production, consumption to production. Why don't you produce? We are not producing anything as a country. Why don't you invest in something that we can use in production? I believe that 774 local governments of the Federal Republic of Nigeria have a domicile way of survival. Create their industry in that particular locality and see how the economy will blossom. You don't need to go and borrow money. Or you don't need to go and create where you are going to siphon money preparatory to election, because that's what they're targeting. It's preparatory to election, because if not, everybody has cried that we don't need that road. I beg you, we don't need that road. Invest it in a certain area.
So,
but they don't want to do
Lagos, Calabar, from your own standpoint,
yes,
is what? Is political?
No, it's a scam. It's a scam in order to enrich them, to create money for them to use for election.
Really?
Because we had similar experience in before. We have similar experience. If not, why are you hell bent in that particular?
Do you have some kind of evidence to show cause of what you just said?
No, you don't need an evidence. It's very clear. It's very clear to you that if not, why are you insisting? Because government is actually for the interest of the people. If you do not provide for the people, as contained in Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria, you are doing something for your own personal interest. That's what is it. Because the people who you are governing are saying, no, we don't need this at the moment now. And when you're saying creation of jobs and all, what about the lives of the people that have been destructed and been destroyed on that particular road? And there have been adjustment and continual adjustment as regards to that road. And at the same time, you are taxing the people continuously. Tariff on petroleum, tariff in banking, tariff on network, tariff on electricity performance. What then are you providing for the people?
You look at the prices of commodities.
It is unbelievable. And then you will justify that and say, well, probably that they are doing well. You cannot eat 3 square meals of your choice in this country, not of your choice. Something that you can eat, you cannot. You have to calculate from every kobo to ensure that that particular kobo will give you succor and your children. I have calls, and I'm sure he does too. Every call that we get, people will be asking you, I don't have money to take care of my child in school. I want to go to the hospital. I want to drink water. Even pure water. People are asking money for it. Pure water that we're thinking. How much is the pure water before?
So from your own assessment, this government has failed. Or what? How would you assess
absolutely,
it?
Absolutely. And look, let me tell you, it's nothing wrong with you accepting that you have failed and you can listen. What we are offering is free consultancy.
You have not given us
I'm giving you an answer. I told you
one alternative.
One alternative. I said money that was supposed to be used for that particular coastal road should have been used.
That's a matter of choice. That's choice. No.
Alternative. Your alternative. Alternative can be only for the interest of the people.
Opportunity cost. That's a choice. It's not alternative.
For the interest of the people, not to put pay and pan on the people.
At whose expense?
At what extent are we giving this?
At whose expense is that project? Because if you say it's for the interest of the populace,
you see, government business. I'm surprised that even Labour that I thought to be progressive in ideas, they are also being detained in their
when the position is inimical to the survival of the Nigerian people. We are almost having a kind of
rhetorics are common with human rights activists.
Not common. These are facts on the ground.
No, listen, they are common with human rights activists, and they don't.
You are one.
And they have forgotten.
You are one. Don't forget, you are one. We all started from the same place.
They have forgotten
you are one.
That if the society were to be well ordered, there will be no job for human rights activists and opposition politicians. You understand what I'm saying? Because the society is already skewed in the first place, ab initio, the way we met it. So there have to be people who will continue to agitate for the rights of the other people. But what I want to hear, there are ideas that give talked about the bigger picture. Government has no business in business. You are telling government to go and be building modular refinery. Insult. What's that? When there are individuals who are into big-time oil business who can be modular refinery.
How many of them have you given license to?
Are you getting me?
How many of them have you given license to?
There are so many licenses.
How many have you given license to go and do it?
See, the 16 that were initially given.
And you're saying, look, let me ask
the 16 licenses that were initially given.
It's not fair.
How many people built them?
It's not fair what you are doing to the Nigerian people. It's not fair for what you are doing to the Nigerian people. No. Remember your background. Remember your background. You have always been in the interest of the Nigerian people. If you're interested in the Nigerian people, you cannot agree that you can export your oil outside the country. After you can have 12, and then you are bringing in one, and then you justify it.
Listen, we have Dangote refinery.
It has not kicked off. It was a deceit right from the beginning. It has not kicked off.
You can't tell a man who has invested billions of dollars into a platform and think that he will just be there like a moribund industry. No, come on. Let's give him some credit. When he start pumping diesel, fuel price of diesel from 1,900 dropped to 1,000. Now it has gone to 1,200. Abi? And so give him some credit. You see, the private sector has to be energized, no doubt. But don't come here and tell me that the Lagos coastal road to Calabar is a misplaced priority. How do you define your priority? The money they will use in doing Lagos is not the wrong that we use in doing Jerry. Those of us who are from Edo State, are we going to be plying Jerry? Those of us who are living in Benin, those are living in Ore, Okutukpokpa, and all those people, are they going to be coming to ply Jerry to Kaduna?
What is the population of those people?
No, I'm coming. What of Port Harcourt? What of Calabar? You see, all of these coastal areas, they are all shipping lines, whether you like it or not. The river, Warri Port, Port Harcourt Port, Cocoa Port, the one they are trying to do in the one that is stillborn now in Gelegele Port in Edo, then the Lagos and all of that. If you have a road of that nature on that road, 700 kilometers, on that road where things can be done differently, don't you know that when those ports are opened, that there will be some level of freedom in the Papa Port?
Mr. Afegbua, interestingly, you are from the south.
Yes.
Although you are from the upland, you are not from the water riverine area. But you are knowledgeable enough to, and I'd like to ask you, in a coastal environment, what mode of transport is best to move around?
To move around?
In a coastal environment.
What vehicle and boats?
Would you pick
ferry?
Would you pick water transport above road in a coastal environment?
There's already water transport.
I'm saying that those who are asking, I'm trying also for us to put some probe the matter.
Yes.
It's a fact that is that a priority? If we are talking about just a moment.
Yes.
If we are talking about mobility around the coastal area that traverses about 4 or 5 states of Nigeria, the question would be: is that the most productive? Is that the most financially prudent way to go about spending that money? And in that kind of environment, what mode of transportation would you rather pick? Is it water or road? Which one do you?
Boat. I'll pick boat, because when your ship berths at the dockyard, it's not going to. You are not going to use ferry or boat or whatever to take the goods that is bringing to Onitsha. You're not going to use to take the goods to Aba. You're not going to use to take the goods to Owerri and all of those places. You see, the point must, and that's why I said you should look at the bigger picture. We just talk about this road. At what point are we going to be developing our infrastructure? What I expect him to say is that this idea is very ambitious. I pray Mr. President is able to get the resources to complete it in record time, so that it doesn't fall into the category of uncompleted projects. That way, I will see a constructive dimension to your criticism.
That would be a mistake.
You get my point. So instead of telling me that a coastal road that will link all those coastal communities and states together, that is a misplaced priority.
Let me ask you, and I want us to move to another issue. But on this coastal road, just a moment, and both of you are fathers, same as myself. The question will be, if there is a choice between clothing your child and your child has not eaten for 2 days, what would you pick?
The scenarios will determine how my response will be, because one, I can't let my child naked.
So, but will you?
No, wait, because he's hungry. I will clothe my child first, then I will go out to make a living for them.
So that means that explains the reason why your party wants to do coastal road even when Nigerians are hungry.
You see, even if you don't do the coastal road, Sheung, what if they carry the money under the table and they get somewhere else?
So let me ask you the same question. The choice of Mr. Afegbua is that
I will even close my shop to feed my child, because they say a hungry man is an angry man. By the time the child is well fed, he will get clothing for himself. he will build a housing for himself because he'll be able to work. He'll be able to do what he's supposed to do to be able to harness his best resources within him. But when he's weak, he's hungry, he cannot do anything. Give him the best clothes, he will only wear it and the thing will look just like a ghost on his body. No. That is the truth. And the truth about it is that, Seun, let us look at it very clearly. We have an East-Western Coast road that's not been completed. Those roads have been there. Why don't you invest in that?
As you speak now, they are working on them.
Oh, goodness me.
Yes,
how many years now? How many years now? Even how many years? Look, what you are saying, maybe you don't understand me. Maybe you don't understand me very well. Let me make it clear. Nobody said that it's not a good idea. We say it's a good idea.
I said it's not a good idea.
I said it's a good idea.
No, you didn't say that. You said it's a misplaced priority.
You can get it.
It's misplaced priority.
I didn't go anywhere and I'm here and the record that there. That was the first thing I said. I said it's a good idea, but it's wrongly misplaced. It can quote the record.
It's not the right time?
Not at all.
That's a matter of choice.
You cannot be on a matter of choice when the people of
the president sees
look,
a greater,
like I told you, even Onitsha to Enugu Road is still there. It's not been completed. People are talking about the existing road that they're supposed to add value to them. Has not been done.
Let me ask.
They're talking about taking it to take $1 trillion to go and build a phantom road.
Let me ask you, Mr. Minister, do you for a moment, those of you who are in the Labour Party who are supporters of Peter Obi, think that if some Nigerians pick the choice of Bola Tinubu and whatever they are faced now, for a moment, maybe in your quiet place, think it serves them right? Do you at some point say that?
No, I wouldn't put so much blame on them because they were misguided. And they were misguided. So, but what I am happy about is that they've seen the difference. They are able to see it now so that they can be able to make an informed choice.
You imagine that Peter Obi would have done way better than...
far better. Far better, because I give you an example of how where he was as a governor, he made sure that he links the existing road of the local government, prioritize all the local government to make sure that they link with the state. It's a fact. Throughout his tenure, it is a fact. Go and check it. Throughout his tenure, there was no single armed robbery in the states. That is the issue of security. In terms of involvement in education, he made sure that he provided every amenities that he needed, including computers, to the students of that particular state to ensure that where they were before, maybe 26 or 27, they come on top. These are practical examples. In an industrial area where there was no link road, Peter Obi provided this particular road. Not only that, he brought succor to the people who were working in the civil service, making sure that he paid them all their gratuity and their pension. He was not owing anybody throughout the finish. That was empathy that he showed to the people. And at the same time, this is somebody who have also presented himself for check and balances. At the end of it, he left money in the coffers of the state. Tell me, in every strata of credibility, tell me, in every strata, no, it's the same money that Obiano was asked. They asked him, where did you get money to do the international airport that you have? He said, the former governor left me money. It was that money that I used. You can play the video. That is money that I used. It was not even said by Obiano himself. It was said by the governor of Gombe State, who was interrogating him. So these are practical examples of what he could do. And then he looked very deeply and said, look, there's arable land in this particular point of the country. That is the northern part of it. Let us put people out of poverty. And he has been practicalizing it. So you see, the empathy he shows and the resilience he shows is directly to the interest of the people. He was not doing anything against the interest of the people, which this particular government is doing. He's doing things that will interest the people. Look, I know your pain, I know your pain. Let me help in solving it. And that's my own. And he goes ahead to practicalize it by even putting boreholes, vision to health care services, and all. And even eating with the most common person on the street. That is the kind of love.
So Peter Obi is a man of the people.
Of course, because he has shown it practically while he was in government and when he was out of government. This is practical records.
All right. Let me because I want us to
see. It's very interesting when I listen to critics and when I listen to people who are marketing their own beleaguered candidates. They're trying to become leaders of the country. You are talking about Anambra State as if it's separating outside this hemisphere. For God's sake, we all know Anambra State. And incidentally, I did my NYC there, and I've been going to Anambra in and out several times. Even
that
during,
means that you cannot deny some of these states roads
even during the campaigns, state roads in Anambra, the best, you ask an average Anambra person, they will commend Chris Ngige of doing more internal roads than any governor before and after him. That is one. That's a statement of fact. The same man that you champion his democratic credentials so eloquently did not conduct one single local government election in his 8 years in government.
You can Google it right now. It's not true. Right now, don't debunk this particular story. Please Google it right now. You will see it now.
There are schools that are dilapidated.
But he's saying what you said is not true.
Please Google it now. I don't know. Let him, even you, Kasim, Google it now.
There are schools that are dilapidated in Anambra for which Obiano took the responsibility of fixing. When you talk about the education sector, I would think that all the schools in Anambra were fixed and it has become an El Dorado. It is not true. Health sector, what was his scorecard there? There was a governor that came after him, Obiano. We know the lamentations of Obiano when he was a governor, for which himself and Peter disagree on quite a number of issues. So don't portray a picture of all is well. Tell me, as a constructive critic, that yes, in the ratio, Peter Obi may have done about 55%. That's a majority, fine. But the 45%, he couldn't achieve ABC and D. I will understand that you are being constructive. But don't tell me that you turn Anambra into an El Dorado. Then what did the other governors come to do? Look at this man now, what is his name? Professor Soludo. He's working again in the same Anambra. There are gully erosion issues. What did he do about that? There are bad state roads. What did he do about that? So it is convenient for you to champion the aspiration of your candidate.
But he believes that Peter Obi wouldn't have done in an abysmal manner in which your government led by Bola Tinubu, according to his own assessment, that your government of the APC has failed Nigerians. And Peter Obi would have done better.
You see, talk is cheap.
Give us the money. They
have not even given me all the time.
I will be the first person to deny Peter Obi if he does not perform. All
the talk about Peter Obi, about this government, they have not given us one alternative. They just end up whipping up sentiments. How we will do that? Tell me what you will do in a situation like this. You see, criticism and opposition politics is an integral part of the democratic process. Well, what makes it so intrinsic of credible outcome is how much alternative voice you give in a way that people will see that this is a shadow government. Run a shadow cabinet. You will be their publicist. Let Peter Obi be the president.
All right, gentlemen.
So choose your finance minister. Tell me if we say we are doing this. Tell me this is what you will have done. Then I will take you serious.
I like us to try to bring the conversation home. And I just have about two or so conversation line. Now, my first conversation is to ask, my line of question is the kind of cabinet that the president has, in your own view, and I know that you are that kind of person that you hit the nail on the head. Is this the best kind of cabinet that Nigeria can get from a president?
No, it is not the best. I would even advocate that in this 1 year, you should fire some ministers who are not performing.
Do you agree?
Oh, totally, yes. Because for the first time he's been telling you the truth.
No, I am like this. I don't beggar issues. I don't beggar issues. You see, but when you are giving choices, and you are saying it as alternative, you get it wrong.
No, not choices. These are what we will have done. It is there in our
It is not what you will have done. Even your candidate has no competence to lead this country.
No.
Your candidate has no competence to lead this country.
I'm just giving you choreographic.
I don't like people who are parochial, who are self-centered.
I have just given you examples
you are not giving me what Peter Obi will have done. I have given
you example of what he has done. And I said that if he was the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the first thing he wouldn't have played to the gallery.
What gallery?
No.
He said he was going to remove subsidy.
No, he said he was. But our target was to produce modular refineries in each of the
You don't produce in this new way.
It can be done. No.
Look at it. You have not fixed your refineries. You want to
because the refineries will take you years.
Look at the way laborers are reasoning.
The way it will take you years. In 6 months, you can put a it will be
so
a short gap. It will be a short gap within that period. Look at
this matter of the cabinet.
Yes,
you say you agree with Kasim
Afebua. Of course I do, because this is not the best of candidates they have. It's not, because those people that we have are not thinking out of the box. Around the box, on top of the box.
No, I didn't say all of them. He needs tinkering, and I will advocate that he does cabinet reshuffle. That's
awesome.
Now, he should do cabinet reshuffle.
But if you are
because he has very lofty, Renew Hope agenda encapsulated in the policy document. He needs people that will have the stamina, the grit, the gravitas to drive the process. Because as a president, you are just a coordinating leader. You have to coordinate, but who are the lieutenants that you are going to put in these respective places to ensure that they do the right thing?
Who are they? Who are for your? And I'm coming back to you.
Yeah.
Who are those that you think are performing, and who are the ones that you? If you were the president, who are the ones?
Do you want them to be
fire?
No.
Who are the ones that you think are top performing?
See, nobody. No, nobody is feeding me. Please, I live my life. The point is that there are some ministers that are solid. And I must give them. For the first time, we are seeing a professional communicator manning the information ministry. Fellow of Nigerian Institute of Public Relations are not taking a quack to be information minister like we had in Lai Mohammed. I've always advocated that when it comes to communication, choose the professionals. There is a way you will present government position that people, the ordinary person out there will understand. That person, you can't fault him. So far,
Information minister, tick the box for you.
Yes.
Who else?
The minister for finance is a solid brain. He's not ruffled. He's not in a hurry. He's not under pressure. He absorbs the pressure and dishes out. The man who is heading the FRS.
No, just
a solid guy.
Yeah. Before you go, when you say the minister of finance, all the indices are in the red.
It doesn't matter.
If you appoint
what he met on ground, he can't change statistics. You want people to be giving you fake statistics? To generate fake statistics is very easy. MBS is a government institution. What does it take to say these are the indices?
But let me ask you something, Kasim. Let me ask you.
That was produced by NBS. These are the government owned now.
The question.
I spoke English.
I thought you speak Benin.
No.
Because this is.
But the question I will ask, Alhaji Tanko, the question I would like to ask you, if you are a chairman of or the founder of a company, and you want to appoint a CEO, and I give you, out of 15 indices, economic indices, 14 are in the red, would you retain that kind of CEO?
I will retain. You know why?
Even with the failure?
No, it's not failure. You see, all over
our economy is failing.
Wait, all over the world. Economic indices, economic policies, economic solutions, they are a function of trial and error. Write it down. There are no determinable.
At this level,
listen to me. We are all red, please.
So this government,
I'm coming.
That the fact that they are doing trial and error is a fact, right?
Let me conclude. Don't put words into my mouth. I study, I read books. You see, there are no determinable end solutions to economic problems. They are existential as much as human societies. When you have 10 economists put in this your studio, lock them up and tell them after 7 days produce solutions to our economy, they are going to produce 10 different solutions. So there are no determinable end solutions to economic problems. When you try one policy formation, if it doesn't give the kind of feedback you want, you reverse and you tinker with it, you go into another one. There you can't tell me somebody, there are people who are infrastructural prone economists. They'll tell you that in order to rejuvenate the economy, you need to go into infrastructural construction, roads, and dams and all of this. There are others who say no, you need to employ people. But employ people, you also need to be seen to be doing something, production. There are others who will say no. Let us look at even the form of the economy. Are we capitalists? Are we liberal? Are we this?
So invariably, you are saying finance minister tick the box for you?
For me, yes.
Which other one?
The minister for mines.
Okay.
what's his name?
The prince.
Dele
Alake.
Dele Alake, good. Festus Keyamo, good. Who will I call again? Because after the works minister is doing well, FCT minister Wike is doing well. Quite a number of them. Some I can't remember.
But for you, you think the president should rejig and fire some?
Bring in some upwardly mobile, vibrant minds who are ready to take the bullets and head on.
In which ministry, for example?
No, I wouldn't want to suggest ministries. Just leave that one out. I've tried to identify the ones that I think.
So you cannot place on my
Let me ask Alhaji Yunusa Tanko. Yes. Do you see any minister that is what it's sought? I mean, do you find anyone that you think are performing in this cabinet?
Well, I wouldn't ascribe any, but the only thing that I will mention is that there was a pronouncement that was made by Festus Keyamo that I think was a good score for me. Probably because you remember his background as an activist, politician, which of course always asks him to be done directly. With the same now, but at least as an activist, you remember his background. Now he said, okay, that people are paying, people that were supposed to pay money in the government coffers who have the money are not the one paying at the airport and others. So he insisted, if we take that particular line of thinking that, okay, let's not be abysmal in spending, let's be more prudent in generating and expending. That's core for me. But that will be resonated in almost all of the ministries.
Which are the other ministers that you think?
I didn't mention any. I only exemplified that particular statement.
Okay.
So
you don't think that the cabinet has even done well?
How can you explain to me when Minister of Finance is performing in this particular low status, and I pick him as a minister as a scorecard? No, it can't happen. It's not as if Nigerians are eating square meal on their table. It can't happen. So to me, there's nothing in that regard. But if they take that line of Festus Keyamo as a guide to all of their performance, probably most of them will do better.
All right, let's close the conversation, and I'd like us to close in this way. I see a lot of the coming together of opposition forces, and I see your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, is also meeting a lot of people, and it's also sending a message to the ruling party. How far-reaching do you think that this conversation?
Oh, fantastic idea! Because the truth about this is that it was out of his visit to the core northern states, meeting these children, especially the downtrodden, Almajiris, and those who are in the nursing system, providing borehole water and all. He now realized the level of decay in the system. And then he said, okay, let me meet some of these particular gladiators, big politicians who have done at least their best within their own enclaves. Let us work together. Let us think about how we can move people out of poverty and then put them in the right direction. That was the thing that really endeared him and started this particular movement that you saw him did. And eventually, he was able to get their attention, and they welcomed him warmly. That is the most important part of it. And so they agree that let us work together. In working together, of course, politics is dynamic. It can be a merger, it can be an alliance, it can be even support from the background. So it can be any. But the fact remains that they are talking to each other, trying to find solution to the quagmire of the poverty level in the country.
This is about 2027.
No. It's about Nigeria.
No, I mean that.
No, it's not. It's beyond that. Nobody is saying that one person is perfect. But when you have the idea of thinking that, look, let us start thinking about how do we pull our people out of poverty. It's gone beyond 2027.
So the APC should be weary of a possible tsunami, political tsunami.
Nigerians are saying it's not going to be even political party. It's not going to be even political party alone. There are Nigerians in different sectors who are not. They are very, very unhappy with the situation in this country. They will collaborate.
Is your party worried about this?
How to help Nigeria now means how to build merger and alliances and all that. Is that what he's saying? Isn't that ridiculous?
How can it be ridiculous? But what brought you in the first place was a merger and alliance. So how ridiculous would that be? Maybe he forgot his own history. That's how the APC came about. We have the history in our hand. They joined together. There were how many of them? There were 5 of them. They came together. So I'm not saying that. So we are even not copy. But I'm just telling you. No, you are saying that it was ridiculous. That means that what gave you the power and the strength was ridiculous in the first place.
In 2013,
I'm saying that they are even more than that.
See, this scenario in 2013 is different from scenario now. They are not learning. You see, the point is that don't exhibit. A man of Peter Obi's status who wants to preserve Nigeria should not be jumping up and down. like some of us.
It's becoming a problem for them.
You understand what I'm saying?
It's becoming a problem. Seeing him moving around is giving them nightmares.
We can't even
nightmares. They can't breathe.
We can't lose sleep over Peter Obi. He's just a desperate politician who wants power at all costs.
But it's very clear. He has already said it that I'm not desperate to be president, but I'm desperate to be Nigeria.
No, you see, his political party, Labour Party, put the house in order. For God's sake,
that is the party.
Look, what is so big for you to your chairman is being accused of corruption.
Yes.
You are sacking people every day.
Our president candidate has said, look,
you don't listen.
Let me say another bit. As a past presidential candidate, let me give you a knowledge. Let me share another bit.
Can you imagine this people?
When you as a candidate, as a political party, you have INEC auditing to take place. You have internal auditing to take place. Okay? These are statutory rights that's supposed to be done by every political party. You also have campaign funding. Campaign funding that must have been given, it must be accounted for. And who is in charge of that particular campaign funding is the presidential candidate. He has done his. The party has got to do theirs according to the provisions of the law. So in that case, as a presidential candidate, he has also extended his intention. So this particular party, all of the corruption that has been accused of the chairman, let us have an independent candidate auditor that will audit it. What more?
It's only a desperate politician that will go back to his
home. None of them.
Are you of the APC stock worried?
None of them
about.
No candidate have done that for Peter Obi. Tell me.
Politician will go back to his vomit. He abused PDP in 2023. He is now going to bed with them. That is the problem they have, because they want power at all costs.
It is very clear.
Right. Secondly, there is nothing to worry about, because there are perennial candidates in Labour Party and PDP all together now. They have one that is almost contesting every year.
Kasim, you come from the same PDP, don't forget to.
He has said that. That's the reason why I left. Because I don't want perennial candidates. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has told everybody who cares that if head permits him, he's going to contest in 2027. That's one. Peter Obi, please, very honest advice. And I'm being very gratuitous here. Tell him to please put Labour Party in order. Let Labour Party run as a country. Let us see the beauty in the Labour Party in terms of how the executives who are elected into positions function in a way that Nigerians will get admired into that party. Not seeing himself as one individual, seeing the party as another, and refusing to take responsibility for all the.
But Mr. Fegua, the coming together from if political history that we know serves us right, the coming together of this political heavyweight.
Which party is coming together?
There are members of your party who are aggrieved, and the SDP they are meeting with SDP, PDP, members of the PDP, Labour Party. All of them are talking, and some eminent Nigerians are joining that conversation.
All of them are talking.
They are talking. A lot of these parties can't even deliver their polling units. They are just noisemakers. I'm telling you, I've been involved in political parties for years.
Don't worry.
Since 1997.
Until when I've gone through, that was the same thing that they said, that we're only 5 of us in the bedroom. And then they allocated 6 million to us. But today, we are becoming a canker problem to them. No problem. We like it like that.
For Nigeria.
But Peter Obi defeated your candidate in his home state of Lagos.
It doesn't matter. That's democracy.
It doesn't matter?
Yeah, that's democracy. That is the beauty. Yet, they still lamented, they still cry foul that the election was.
Because we knew we had more than that particular vote. It was not even presented by ourselves, it was presented by a PDP person.
That's why I said that President Tinubu was the candidate of Nigerians. Peter Obi was candidate of Christianity and Igbos.
No.
Atiku Abubakar was candidate of the North.
It's not true.
It was very clear. So if you look at the pattern of their vote distribution,
I am a Northerner.
If you look
I am a bona fide child of a Kano State indigenous. I don't have even a mixed in me. I don't even have mixed. My people voted for him. My people voted for him. Not the one that you allocated. Not the one that you allocated.
Gentlemen, let's close it. And I like you. Yeah.
Proud one.
It was not able to deliver polling units.
Where do we?
I want 8 polling units.
No, you didn't deliver your own. I put it to you. Give me the result.
Let me give it to you.
Give me the result.
I will give you.
Look at this man.
Gentlemen,
you don't know even my polling unit.
Gentlemen, let's wrap up quickly.
My polling unit is in Dawaki here. You're lucky here. Your people covered it. I want 8 polling units. All of them I want. I want all of them.
No, how many votes?
You are talking about
gentlemen. Gentlemen, let's try to.
The vice presidential candidate that time lost his.
Let's wrap up, gentlemen. Where do we go? I mean, it seems to be a general. It seems to be a general consensus that the nation is not in a good place, and we're looking.
It's not a general consensus.
Do you think that Nigeria?
I'd like to be scientific.
You think that Nigeria is in a good place right now?
Listen, I like to be
with
scientific.
With that particular you just gave us.
No, I like to be scientific in my utterances. Majority is 51%. Minority is 49%. You get? It's just a ratio of 2%. So how do you measure that? So if 40 noisy people are in a room and they are shouting blue murder, and you have 51% people, maintaining some calm and following the approach methodically, you will think that those 40 carries the day. So for me, Nigerians should please try and change their attitude. One, to governance, to anything government. They should play their civic responsibility and obligations in a manner that they can also be models to the upcoming ones. Not those who are driving vehicles on the road, they block road, they drive, they want to get to their destination so fast. Not those ones who will see corruption, they close their eyes because they want to be partakers and all of that. And so there are a lot of things. Not those people who tell Nigeria is tough. Go to Owambe parties, you see them wasting food and all of that. Or, Nigeria is tough. You see them spraying Naira and all of that. So we need to cut down, not just telling government, even in our own attitudes, in our own orientation, let us be modest.
All right.
Let us
are you now calling Nigerians noisy makers? Are you now calling Nigerians noisy makers? Here we are. Don't go anywhere. Do a scientific analysis right now and ask Nigerians, is Nigeria in a better position than it is or not? 10 out of 10, I can bet you. Do a random sampling. Scientifically, do a random sampling. Look, don't even go far.
I wanted you to
right here in this studio. Just do a random sampling and ask 3 persons right here. Right here, don't go anywhere. Who will defeat that particular position? If they are busy, say no.
It's not representative.
I want you to.
3 persons, and you know.
I want you to give.
Is a better position.
Just like Kasim gave us.
Insult on the Nigerian people. I want.
Just a moment. I want you to give your own final statement, just like Kasim. Where do we go from here?
Good. Where do we go is that retract your steps. Tell the Nigerians the truth. Don't lie and don't do propaganda.
No, truth.
Tell them the true situation of things. What you met, what you intend to do. Give it timeline. ABC. We want to do this at this particular period of time. And when we do it, we will do another. You don't need to play to the gallery. Once you can get that, and also apologize. It doesn't take you. Apologize to the Nigerian people for the manipulation that brought you into power in the first place.
There was no manipulation. So please stop this nonsense.
Manipulation. Please. I still remain to say it. Manipulation. Because 3 elections took place on that day. It doesn't take anything from Yaradua to apologize to the Nigerian people. It was a classical example.
3 elections took place.
And he did. 3 elections took place on the same day. Election was supposed to be announced at the same time simultaneously. You announced only 2. One was taken off deliberately. It deserved Nigeria because many of them come in and out. So once you do that, you will have gotten the grace of God that you know that you have committed a mistake, you committed a minor. When you do that, you will have helped to put yourself on the right position. When you do that, you are correct.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Prince Kasim Afegbua, a member of the APC, Alhaji Yunus Otanko, the official spokesperson of the Obidati organization.
No, you have to know which of the faction it belongs to.
Unfortunately, I have no.
I'm not sure Obidati has a faction.
I don't even run from one place to another. It's only one place.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
He didn't say say campaign. He didn't say campaign.
No,
he said organization.
He
said say organization.
Oh, is that his campaign organization?
Gentlemen. Thank you, my gentlemen.
Kanko Yenusa.
You know that.
A member of Labour Party.
No.
They are afraid to identify with Labour Party.
Hold on, gentlemen. Let's close this.
I didn't deny it. Neither did I say anything.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
I didn't follow up. I didn't lie about things that I know that they are wrong. And I'm prohibiting it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah. Thank you very much for recognizing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That is a miscarriage of test, of position, of status.
Why are you afraid of being a
You are afraid of member Labour Party.
No,
elections are over. Why is this campaign?
Gentlemen, we need to go.
Okay, Peter Obi spokesman. Put this correctly. Things to be stated correctly.
What about you call it? What about you call it?
To Peter Obi.
Okay.
No problem.
Is that right? Spokesperson of Peter Obi. Prince Kasim Afegbua, former member PDP,
yes,
who abandoned Atiku Abubakar.
And become spokesman of Babangida and all the rest.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Well, I don't run away from my shadow.
So that's why any man don't run away from my But you are trying to detach me.
All right, gentlemen, that is the show today. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this episode of the Micon Podcast. Till I come your way again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I'm Sean Kimbalo. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of Micon Podcast with Sean Okimbaloi. Micon Podcast for the independent mind.